In football news now, tomorrow the FIFA Disciplinary Committee will look at SAFA's complaint against referee Maguette N'Diaye and his assistants who were officiating the Ghana vs South Africa World Cup qualifier. SAFA are confident about the case that they presented and have called on the global body to protect the integrity of the game. They are hopeful that the World Cup qualifier will be replayed. Former international referee Ncobo joins us. He was part of SAFA's team that compiled the report. A very good evening and welcome to Newzroom Afrika.
Thanks for having me.
How are you feeling ahead of tomorrow's sitting of the Disciplinary Committee?
Well, I think that my role has been very minimal in the bigger scheme of things, in the sense that this is essentially a SAFA submission. SAFA is the member association of FIFA. I'm just a bit part player in the bigger scheme of things, who happen to be requested to conduct a technical analysis of their referee's performance throughout the course of the match. So it's not for me to have any feelings about anything, but if I were to be asked as a patriotic South African whether I do have any hopes of seeing the senior men's team advancing to the next stage of the FIFA qualifying process, I would then speak as a patriotic South African to say I have big hopes. I have a huge wish to see that South Africa takes part in Qatar 2022.
So you believe that the FIFA case the SAFA case rather, is a strong one, and you feel that FIFA will decide in South Africa's favor to replay the match?
I don't think I want to raise the expectations of South African citizens generally and football-loving South Africans in particular in terms of what the outcome may be, because it can go either way. What I can assure the football-loving people of this country is that we've put forth a very credible submission that's based on a very scientific approach to the biasness or otherwise of the referee. We've looked at every single decision that the referee made. We have tested the correctness or otherwise of that decision. So when we say he made 33 incorrect decisions in the match, we are only looking at major decisions. And when we stretch that further to say that 30 out of the 33 of those incorrect decisions went against South Africa, and thus were able to prove a definite pattern of bias, we hope that FIFA will also see that nowhere in the world should a football match be decided on the basis of a pattern of bias by a referee, but by the prowess of football players on the field of play, one team being stronger than the other.
Were you surprised at Ghana's emotional reaction?
Look, it was really surprising that the Ghanaian Football Association would decide to wage a war of words against SAFA when SAFA did not try to submit anything to FIFA that suggested any impropriety on the part of the Ghanaian Football Association, its officials, and its players. In my report, there is nothing at all that casts aspersions on the Ghanaian Football Association, its officials, and or its players. We have purely focused ourselves on the conduct of the referee and his decision making. What I would have expected from a football association like the GFA would be to say, we welcome any kind of investigation that's going to prove that we won the match fair and square. Not to attack South Africa as if South Africa sought to attack Ghana. We never tried to do that. It's not our intention, because until we have concrete evidence of their involvement in inducing the referee to decide in the dubious manner that he did in at least 33 decisions in the match, then they are absolved of any accusation.
Ace, this is not good for refereeing on the continent. You just have to go back a couple of years when South Africa had to replay their 2018 World Cup qualifier against Senegal after the Ghanaian referee Lamti was found to have manipulated that match. These are similar allegations that are being made. South Africa now on the opposite end, saying that Maguette N'Diaye and his officials manipulated the match. So one would assume that the outcome would potentially be a lifetime ban on the referee if there indeed evidence is found that there was match manipulation.
Well, there's an automatic 5-year ban if FIFA finds against a referee or any other official. The lifetime ban involves several aggravating circumstances that FIFA may very well find. If, for instance, there was a financial inducement that accrued to the referee, surely there will be a lifetime ban. If it is just a case of him being deliberately biased against one of the teams without there being any inducement from an external force, then obviously he will go through the automatic 5-year ban. But what's lovely about Article 18.1 of the FIFA Disciplinary Code is that once you find against the referee, you are forced to then nullify the result of the match. Whether or not it's going to be a replay or the points will be granted to South Africa will depend on whether or not the GFA was involved in that inducement, which led to the referee to be patently biased against South Africa.
When do you expect the outcome of the FIFA DC?
Well, I don't want to make that kind of speculation, but we have it on good authority that by close of business tomorrow, the disciplinary committee of FIFA is put on a deadline to produce an outcome on this submission by SAFA.
So South Africa, hold your breath another 24 hours and we'll know whether in fact that match will be replayed or what in fact will happen with SAFA's complaint to the global body FIFA. Ncobo, thank you very much for chatting to us here on Newzroom Afrika.
Always a pleasure. Thank you so much.